લઈને આને હું પેલું ફોટોવાળું જ રાખું છું. ગુડ મોર્નિંગ. Can you guys hear me? Am I audible? Can you write in the comment? Hello, am I audible? Can you write in the comment if I'm audible? Hello. Am I audible? Can you hear me? If I'm audible, can you please write yes? Let us wait for a few more minutes and we can start at sharp 11. All right, thank you for writing. Okay, we'll start now. Good morning everyone, welcome to today's live webinar. My name is Naresh Gurnani and I am part of Odoo sales team at India location. And today's webinar we're going to discuss how you can manage your service company with Odoo Project Management. I'm sure nowadays a lot of business owners wants to switch their business online and want to ensure how they can be more effective in terms of providing services to their customers. Nonetheless, they also want their employees to be more efficient when it comes to performing their daily activities, right? So how Odoo can be the best solution for all their business problems? So in today's webinar, particularly, we're going to discuss about project management, and post this webinar you can always go back and look for other modules application on Odoo's YouTube channel or even on Odoo's website for more informative videos. Okay, so let us discuss what is going to be the today's agenda. So here we go, guys. So first we're going to discuss about Odoo, then Odoo Project Management, what are the modules that we're going to cover in today's webinar, and how that is effective and how that could help small, medium or large size businesses. We're going to also cover one of the business case study. We're going to take very simple business case study, so even if you are not a technical guru, you can still understand how you can manage software, how you can manage your business online. We're also going to cover one of the project implementation points, and in the last, if you have any questions, we can always discuss that, and how you can reach out to us through phone numbers or even with the email ID. So if you talk about Odoo, Odoo is actually a suite of business apps, covers all of your business needs. One need, one app, and it's pretty easy to use and fully integrated. You don't have to run around for different softwares or ERPs for your every solution, right? You have everything is integrated, so it's pretty easy for everyone to use. Cloud-based, or even you can download it, your modules, applications, usable on any device, iOS, Android, and even on a browser as well. Pretty easy customization. If your business requires any customization, you can always shout on us. You can always look for us. We can help you customize your products as well. Little brief about Odoo. Odoo is actually main headquarters in Brussels, Belgium, and the founder of Odoo is Fabian, which actually the Odoo was founded in 2005 with very few people, and if you talk about now, we have around 850 employees, and actually it's been growing every day. Talk about partners, there are more than 2,500 partners across 176 countries, and that's where actually Odoo been used in 176 different countries. I mentioned there are 4.5 million users globally. Actually, it has crossed 5 million already. So if you have noticed on Odoo's website or on a Twitter, you may have noticed that it has already been crossed 5 million customers. Now, if you talk about annual growth of Odoo, which is around 67% average. So that's about Odoo. Now we're going to cover about Odoo Project Management. So the main modules that we're going to discuss in today's webinar is going to be project, timesheet, and planning, and how those are integrated with each other, and what value that could add to your business, or even if you are a small size or a medium size, or even you are a corporate, a bigger company, you can still, how you can manage your business. This is a manager dashboard view, pretty well organized, neat and efficient, that you can see every project in a single dashboard. You can see all your projects in just a single platform, that you can, even if it's more than 20-25 projects, you can still see as a manager in a single dashboard. Pretty neat stages that you can drag and drop from each stage to a different stage. You can customize your stage according to your business requirement, according to your project requirement, according to your client requirement. And you can manage your workflow from even if you are, let's say you have a multiple locations and multiple employees at different location, still you can manage your project in a very simpler and easier manner. If you talk about schedule, you can look at in a calendar view, pretty easy, which employee has been assigned to which project, which task, on which date, for what time. You can always manage that in a calendar view as well. This is one of the very value add module that which is integrated with the project management, it's like, cherry on the cake, because the planning is one of the very well good module for project management. You can always manage your shifts for your employees. You can always check whether it's not overburdened or it's not, if it's not fully assigned. You can always manage that, how much hours you want to assign to a particular person for what project and for what duration. You can always manage that through a planning app. Now this is pretty important, which is reporting part. We always know reporting is actually a backbone to any business. So you can have a look at different reports as a bar graph, line graph, even a pie charts to manage your projects. You can always look how the employees have been performed, how the project has been performed. You can always analyze that through project management. As I mentioned, you can always look for project performance of employees, availability, how much times that have been assigned, how much time they have spent, what is the progress on that particular task, what is the progress on the project. You can always look that in a single click in a project management part as well. That's one more very good feature about overview, which has recently been added. Newer version, and you can always look for profitability of the project, that how much you have spent behind the project and what you have, how much profit that you make on that particular project, and you can always check that out on an overview page. Great. So we're going to discuss one of the business case study. Here we've taken one of the example wherein there's a service company who's actually they are into a designing services, office design, home design, and other designing services, and they want to make sure that they manage their project online. They manage their business online, even though they have multiple locations, they have employees at different locations, but still they can manage their project. Their business in a software, in an ERP, an Odoo ERP. So directly now we're going to jump onto the Odoo's portal, and we'll show you how that works. So I'm sure now you are able to see the portal, and this is the dashboard view, wherein you can see it's pretty neat, right? A platform that you can see integrated applications such as project, timesheet, planning, sales, employees, and the other modules as well, and those are all integrated. It has a cool features. You can say on a single click, or even if you start typing, let's say if I want to just go ahead and start typing, I don't have to do Control F or click on the search bar to do anything. It is going to directly search if I start typing. So it's a neat feature that saves your time as well. So now we're going to discuss about project first, and then we'll discuss about the case study. So I'm directly going on to the project module. Now, as I mentioned earlier, this is the dashboard view. As a manager, you can view the entire, how many projects that have been currently running, what of the projects that have already been closed, the number of tasks, everything, what is the profitability, how you have managed your planning, and everything that you can look at in the dashboard view. So in the project, if you can see, you have there are some of the you can say labels: projects, all tasks, planning, reporting, and configuration. So in the all tasks, you can view all the tasks related to any n number of projects that you have mentioned. You can also do a group by. Let's say if I want to group by project, I can always manage that. You can see the different project, different tasks, and how many tasks that have been created for this particular project. You can always view that. You could also filter that out if you want to filter by any of my task, followed task. You can always filter that by as well. If you have archived anything, you can always look that for archived as well. Right, so it's a pretty cool feature. If you have let's say on a filter and a group by, if you have favorite anything, you can always do that as well. I'm going to go ahead into a reporting part first. So if you can look at it, there's a different reportings that are available, how you can manage your task analysis in a different graph view. As I mentioned earlier, that's a bar graph. You always have a line graph. You have a pie chart as well, so you can manage that on a reporting point of view. There are other different reports as well, a planning analysis, what I have been planned earlier, you can always look in a pivot view. Timesheet and planning analysis, there is one more cool report that has been already, standard reports that are available. And the good part is that this is not just for this project application, but it is in all the modules that are there in Odoo. You'll always see that reporting structure, because it's a backbone for any business. If you do not have a proper reporting, then you do not have an idea what went well and what actually what are the areas of improvement. You can always look for project cost and revenue, as I mentioned earlier. You can always check that in a pivot view, in a reporting view as well, in a graph view. So there's one more thing that I wanted to show you, this is like, you can always look for a list view, a Kanban view, a calendar view. You can always check, which employee has been assigned to on which date and for which particular task. You can always look for, if you want to edit anything as a manager, you can edit that, a time that you want to add, a date if you want to add, you can always do that. This is a pivot view. You can have a different, if you want to, let's say, hours spent, different reports that you want to check. You can always check a progress, the planned hours. You can always check that as well. So this is also available for all the tasks in a reporting view as well. And this is one more feature that's about schedule activity. So you can always look at what are activities that have been assigned for the entire all the tasks that are available for the project's dashboard. You can always check the schedule activity here as well. So this is one more part, which is a configuration which is available for each module, each application in Odoo. So before start any project or any activity, you can always configure, going to settings. If you want to configure anything about subtask, other activities, timesheet, forecast, you can always do that. So this is all about how the project looks. Now we're going to go ahead and directly jump on to one of the case study that we discussed now. So what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and sales. There are a few products that we have created, and I'm always, as I mentioned, you can always go back and look for, if you need more information about sales. There are a lot of webinars that have been conducted earlier, and there was a recent webinar conducted just few days back. You can always go back and look for that webinar if you want more information about sales. But today we're just going to cover little thing about sales. That's this is the product that we have created, a different price as well, but we have taken one of the product that is design service as a fixed price. What we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and create one of the quotation. That's, let's say that there is a client who have come up to you, they need design service. Now since they need a design service, what are you going to do? You're going to go ahead and send them a quotation. So we're going to go ahead and create quotation. It's pretty neat. You can quickly create customer from here. If you have an existing customer, you can search for existing customer, or you can, let's say, directly create a new customer from here, as I meant. And you can add, if you want to add any information about the customer, you can always go back to customer page. You can add company address, job position, phone number, whatever information that you want to add about the customer, you can always add that. I'm going to go ahead and put expiration date as in 1st July for this quotation. I can always select payment terms. One of the product, as I mentioned, that we created, we're going to go ahead and select that product. That's a design service. So we're going to go ahead and send the quotation to the customer that this is the quotation with the GST, and we'll go ahead and confirm this quotation. As soon as we confirm this, we confirmed this quotation, what will happen? It will create an automated project here. You could see that's SO06 about the that has been covered. I can always go back and add it. Let's say if I want to go ahead and add it, that design service project. A down payment from the customer, just a fixed amount. Let's say we took down payment of 15,000 from the customer. Do that, I'll confirm that invoice and post that the 15,000 has been received from the customer, and we're going to go ahead and register the payment for this 15,000 so that we can proceed further with the project. Now what I'm going to do, since we have created and we have edited the project, let's say now for this design service there are some tasks that we wanted to create. What are the tasks that are mentioned? You can have, if you want to have a bill from task, you can mention that bill from task. If you want to add timesheet timer for your the employees who are working on this project, you can do that. If you want to have a particular email for this particular project, you can do that as well. You can see on the top view, if you want to attach any documents, you can attach document for this particular project. How many tasks that are there in this project, you can always view that. The timesheet that have been filled by the employees working on this project, you can always look for that. Planning, what a plan that you have, planning that has been done for this particular project, you can always view that as well in the same project. What I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and save this. We're going to quickly create some of the tasks. So I'm going to create few tasks. Let's say first meeting with client. I'm going to go ahead and add that. Requirement gathering. There's one more task that I'm going to create for this project. Then we're going to go ahead and design first draft. I'm going to change the assign to as well. I just quickly creating it, and we can later on assign to a different employee as well. Approval from client for the first draft. So you can see it's pretty easy. I'm showing you manually, because even if you are not, as I mentioned, even if you are not a technical guru, if you are a small or a medium sized business, you can always manage your business online through Odoo ERP. There are a few other tasks that I'm going to go ahead and mention that, final design. Final design approval from client. And the last one, project deliver. Great. So let's see now. This is, as I mentioned earlier, you can quickly add any stages. Let's say I want to add for other stages. Let's say assigned, in progress, and one more stage as done. I'm going to go ahead and create these stages. You can always see, for example, if you don't have any information what all stage that you need to add, you can always check that in examples as well. Right, so I have quickly added few stages: new, assigned, in progress, done. What I'm going to go ahead and do that for the first task for meeting with client, I'm going to go ahead and assign that to someone. I'm going to go ahead and add it. I'm going to add that to a different employee. Let's say I'm going to add that to assign to Deepak for a particular deadline. Let's say I want him to complete that on today itself. Right, I could have personal meeting as a tag, or you can add tags as well. Quickly add tags. You can see these tags have been added. All right, planned hours for this particular task, I'm going to go to 5 hours. To the and I'm going to go ahead and change this stage. As I mentioned, that you can always do drag and drop as well. So I'm just quickly showing you drag and drop, in the same thing that you can do from inside as well, from new, assign, in progress, done. You can do it from here as well. I'm going to take one more task, requirement gathering. I'm going to take that as well, and I'm going to go ahead and assign this task to Bhavesh. I'm going to put deadline, let's say for 11th. Once the meeting is done, you can go ahead and start requirement gathering. Call customer. There's one tag, I could say email or anything that you feel that's a feasible tags that you can add as well. Here for this particular task, let's say we assume that there are going to be 8 hours required for completing this task. Great. So Deepak and Bhavesh have started working on this two activities, two tasks, and they have started filling their timesheet. So what will happen? Say they can add a line, let's say for a project SO06 for a particular task, meeting with client. Deepak has, since there were actually 5 hours, he has spent 4 hours for this today, and we're going to go ahead and save that. Same way, Bhavesh has filled for requirement gathering. He has spent 6 hours of his time for this particular task. So this is a pretty neat and clean timesheet that you can see, and since you being a manager, your employee has filled up the timesheet. Now you can always go back and validate in any timesheet that are available for last week or even for the last month. You can always check that, okay, you want to go ahead and validate the timesheet of your employee, whether they have effectively and efficiently they have filled the timesheet. You can go ahead and validate. If you feel that it's not validated, you can always untick that and cancel that. But if you feel that, okay, it's been correctly filled up timesheet, they have worked properly, then you can go ahead and validate that as well. So that will be removed from here from the timesheet. So since the timesheet was filled for these two tasks on this project, we can always look here. You can see that automatically the timesheet has been updated. You can see that out of 5 hours, 4 hours have already been completed for this particular task. You can see the progress is 80%. Right, same goes with the other task, requirement gathering. You can see that out of 8 hours, Bhavesh has completed 6 hours. The 75% of the progress has been done. So there's one more, very pretty small but a very effective feature that I want to show you. That's about send message and log note. You can always send message to your customers as well, and even to the people involved in this project. You can always mention, you can always log note. Let's say if I want to mention something for Bhavesh, okay, so the moment I send this, he will be able to see what has been logged in this particular project. Whenever he opens it with his log account, that he can see that, okay, there are some instruction for him. There's one more thing that if you want to add more people in this project, you can always add followers. If you want to add any channels, you can add that as well. If you want to unfollow any project, you can do that. There's one more thing, you can schedule activity, and that can be done even from the inside the project and even outside. Let's say I want to go ahead and schedule any activity. Let's say I want to call customer on 10th and call for more information. I can do that. Let's say if I want to particularly go ahead and do that task, I can do that and schedule, or I can do mark as done and schedule next. Let's say after call I want to go ahead and do any other activities, I can directly do it from here. I'm going to go ahead and just schedule that. Let's say if I have completed that activity, I can directly go ahead and mark that done, write my feedback, call was done successfully. I can directly do that and just done. So it will be marked as completed. So this is about timesheet. Now we're going to talk about planning. You can directly go from here by employee, by project, since it's been integrated to project management, or you can check out the module here. So you have a calendar view, and shift. I'm going to go ahead and look at for all the app. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to directly go from project to show you planning how that works. I'm going to go to by employees. Let's say Bhavesh, Deepak has they are working on other projects as well, so I want to make sure that they are not overburdened with other projects, other tasks. So I can always look for that availability, that open shift for for other days and what time they are available. So we can always look for. So this is one of the example I wanted to show you. Let's say when I click on this, shows one other shift which is in conflict. You can, when I click on this, you can see this. Because this particular Deepak has been assigned 150% of his strength. That means it's actually overburdened. So I can, if I want to assign that task to someone else, I can always do that. A pretty easy way. I can drag and drop, and let's say if I want to go ahead and do that and assign to particular to me, so I can assign that as well. So it'll be removed from here. I can quickly click on plus sign. Let's say I want him to work on from 6:13. I want him to start working on this project design service. I could select requirement gathering, how much time that I want him to spend on this particular project. So I can always look for that. Let's say I want him to 50% of his time spent on this project. So you can see from 6:13, right, he will be spending 12 hours, and I'm going to go ahead and end date. I'll put end date as 16th. So as see, that's out of 16 hours, he's going to spend 8 hours of his time on this particular project, the 50% of his time. So I'm going to quickly go ahead and publish this. You can see this has been added in a view here. You can always look for month wise, even year wise, even a particular day wise. So as a manager, you can always look what are projects, what are activities that has been assigned to your employees for what time and which date. So it's pretty neat when you actually want to manage your shift of the employees. So I'm quickly going back to the the projects. So now you can see there are 7 when I click on this project. Now I can see there's one more thing, that's an overview that we discussed. That's a pretty cool feature where you can see profitability of your particular project, as I mentioned earlier. So since 2 of your employees and your manager has been working on this project, right, they have been on a certain, let's say they're on maybe a fixed salary on an hourly basis, we can always calculate how much we have spent behind them and what profit that you make from this project. So if you look at the earlier, this project's invoice was around 78,000, 15,000 we took advance. Now the timesheet cost, the cost that has been occurred from the employees is 4,200. Now 63,000 is the difference amount that we need to collect from the customer. So I can go ahead and directly create an invoice from here as well. So regular invoice, I can create and view invoice. You can see that invoice has been created as a draft, that this is the amount that has been pending from the customer. So what we can do, we can go ahead and post that the invoice has been created and the customer has made the payment. So we can cover the remaining amount, and I'll go ahead and validate that. The moment I validate, you can see the amount has been paid. There are no dues from the customer. So I'm going to go ahead and quickly go back to projects. Now I can see on an overview, you can see that the entire amount has been paid. Nothing has to be invoiced. So guys, this is about the projects, planning, and the timesheet that we discussed. Okay. I've showed every manual activities as well and the automated activities. So even if you have a small business or a medium-sized business, or even your business is on a larger scale, you can still manage your projects or manage your business on Odoo Project Management. So I hope this would definitely help you, standardizing your project and making decision that how you can go online with your project and what software that you need to use to take your project to a next level and how you can grow your business. So now we're going to talk about, this was the business case study, how you can successfully implement with our help, with Odoo's help. So when you want to start with Odoo, you will have a dedicated functional consultant who will help you from each step, that what modules and what stage that modules needs to be integrated, how that can be integrated, and how that can be implemented as well. So they will do an analysis, the requirement analysis, what is your basic requirement, whether it would fit into a standard Odoo standard, or would there be any customization required. They would always help you with that as well. They will help you with the data migration in Odoo. If you have data from a previous years, you can always migrate those data into a Odoo software as well. So as I mentioned, configuration of Odoo ERP based on your requirements, deploying best practices to streamline business processes, basis the past experience that the consultant have, the different projects that they have managed, different clients that they have managed. They will always guide you how effective you can manage your business into Odoo ERP. Your consultant will always customize any Odoo apps. If you need to customize any of your app that you according to your business, according to your client requirement, according to your the employees requirement, you can always do that. Training on how to use ERP, they will always help you and train to start using ERP. All right, so if you have any question related to project management, you can drop any question that you have. We can cover that today. And if in case that's some questions that need to be discussed, since looking at the time constraint, you can always reach out to us on our email address, and I'll cover that in my before we end this call. So you can drop your questions if you have any. All right, thank you everyone. So these are our contact details. That's Odoo's website, www.odoo.com. That's the phone number. You can reach out to us. Any of our sales consultant will help you with more information about Odoo. That's the location that we are located here in India, Gandhinagar, Gujarat. That's my email address, ngu@odoo.com. You can always drop me an email with your requirement, your business requirement. We will be glad to help you with your business requirement. Great. These are some of our happy customers. You can have a look at IBM, Alta, Allianz, Shell, WWF, Sodexo. Those are some of the customers who are happy using Odoo software. And that's all for today, guys. Thank you so much for attending this webinar, and thank you for your time.